I personaggi che abbiamo ovviamente sono Eugene, voi lo conoscete, è stato in WWE e non ha fatto solo quello, ha fatto un sacco di altre robe. Abbiamo Aaron, il lottatore più importante in Belgio, quindi abbiamo anche l'eccellenza europea per aprire, per poi passare alle leggende WWE.
Hello, hello.
Abbiamo Mila Smith, che è una delle poche lottatrici che lavora full time nel wrestling mondiale ed europeo. Ha un background di lotta greco-romana, greco-romana, right?
Yeah, freestyle wrestling.
È stata 9 volte campionessa di freestyle, questa vi prende e vi rovina. E l'ultimo uomo, che sarà un po' il cicerone di tutta la giornata, è l'uomo chiamato Red Scorpio, quello che conoscete con la maschera, se lo conoscete.
So the character was my idea. One of my coaches, his son had autism. So my coach would be like, what about a wrestler that isn't very social, might not be able to tie his bootlaces, but he can do all the moves because he's watched it his whole life. It was an honor to me because people would come up to me and give me positive affirmation for the character I played. They would say, my brother has mental disabilities, but once he saw Eugene could achieve something, he knew he could. Over and over I've gotten that story. And it's really humbling, and I'm proud to have been able to do it.
Soprattutto adesso, se ci fate caso, è uscita un'intervista con Randy Orton dove parla di malattie mentali, di ansia, attacchi di panico, e quello era un modo, quando non se ne poteva parlare, di parlarne.
The character that I drew, I tried to think of how did I like anything when I was a kid. More mind of a child than mentally disabled. Mind of a child. You know, if I get scared,
yes.
If I get happy,
yes.
or get, the demons come in, you get bashful, you don't
yes.
do this as a childlike mind of a child.
Everybody wants to be the top name. But because he was so good, and this is a story actually Nick told me, because he was so good in playing the character, and he was not attached to championship or main event or whatever, he was so over as a babyface that now Kurt Angle, Triple H, Ric Flair, they need someone that they validate as heels, and they were fighting to have Eugene because he was the best choice. But the thing is, beside his ability to be an actor, he was also a trainer in WWE, a trainer in OVW. He trained many of those guys, and he told me the story of Big Show. When he got injured, he stayed away for a bit, he came back, and at the same time, some of those stars needed, a push, and he was the right choice. So it was like a
Full circle.
So that, in my opinion, is the biggest acknowledgement for the character, that he's still alive today. There's no one that want to be in the top spot, but actually, you've been in the ring with Hulk Hogan. Yep. How many guys can say, I've been saved by Hulk Hogan? At WrestleMania, right?
Hello.
Ciao. È arrivato Harry Lance,
Eddie Guerrero. He was, the guys that watched him before he was on WCW or WWE, you learned something, and he was so good in WCW, and then WWE just put him over the top. So he affected my career. He came to Louisville and wrestled a guy that played Simon Dean. And I wanted to wrestle Eddie really bad, but I didn't get to wrestle him on that go-round, but absolutely.
Not only the character, but the whole package was just, he was maybe, I don't know, I cannot say the best wrestler ever, but he's probably in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely.
Every trainer on the planet, I think, would tell you to watch Eddie Guerrero's match at some point in your career to get inspirations or to correct a move or to correct this or that in the ring. At some point, everybody's going to tell you he's one of those guys you need to watch the match.
That's the thing, he just sacrificed everything because there was no chance for a 5-foot-something Mexican to be not just the world champion, but that in the lowest point and close to death, he was the best actor ever. Eddie was not what they wanted. We choose him. That's why he's remembered after 20 years, like, yes, we didn't choose Hogan, it was given to us. We choose Eddie Guerrero. That's why he will be always the biggest star remembered, and that's a fact.
Degli anni eventi che vadano in cui abbiamo uno sguardo più internazionale, quindi questo vale come...
Grazie a tutti.
Everybody wants to be the champion. Everybody wants to be the John Cena, or there's only, they can only, how few people can. So whenever they present you with a gimmick, you have to do your best to try that gimmick. To me, it's like a movie character and playing a character in a film. You try to play that character the best you can. Sometimes, I mean, I'm a 10-time champion in WWE, but also I was current white. You know, so you whatever they give you, sometimes they give you great stuff, you make it work. When they don't give you great stuff, you try to make it work. And that's just the way it goes. That's why I was with them. I was with them for 12 years, and I left. I never got fired. I quit. A memory of Eddie. Well, we all loved Eddie. He was great in the ring and out of the ring. He wasn't just a two-dimensional character, this wrestler on TV. Now he had addictions and struggles and trials like we all have. And we showed those on TV and we talked about them. So if you remember that promo that Eddie did against Brock Lesnar in the ring, and that was one of the best promos of all time because it was real. He talked about his addictions. He talked about what it meant to be the champion and why he was going to beat Brock Lesnar to get that championship back, because that showed to his family that he made it back. God, there's just so many, But I just remember that he was such a good person. He loved the fans, and that's why he's remembered so well, is because he loved the fans. And you knew that, you could tell. When I've seen him take his shirt off and give it to people, I've seen him.
Lucha Libre in Mexico is totally different than what wrestling is in the rest of the world. And I had no clue. But these guys, Chavo, Ray, Christian, Kane, a Big Show, Cena, they all helped me to comprehend what wrestling in America or in the world was all about, with logic and doing stuff with a purpose, and not just doing stuff because he looks cool. And that's when I really, really fell in love completely with wrestling. I thought I was in love with wrestling since I was a little boy, but then when I saw the difference between one style and the other, that's when I completely fell in love with the business. So the Money in the Bank, especially because of that finish with my dear friend Ray, where we're going at it and I just unmasked him and he couldn't defend himself, that's a heelish move. Only an asshole would do it, and it was Chavo's idea. It was my idea. A great idea. I unmasked Ray. Ray couldn't move because he needed to cover his face. Alberto gets a briefcase. So that's the reason that one is my favorite one.
I mean, I like being a baby face, but I mean, you got a problem with me being it's always nice to be loved and appreciated for your hard work. And I think that's one of the good things about pulling back the curtain a little bit on wrestling is you see not only what we do in the ring is very physical and demanding on your body and mentally, because you got to be on your feet mentally out there, but the toll it takes on your family, and your loved ones, and you miss funerals of your immediate family, you miss weddings, you miss birthdays and all that stuff. So I think the wrestling fans, even if you're a heel, they still appreciate what you do.
For me, heel. Guerreros are natural heels. 100% heels. It's much easier. Your baby face, your good guy, is only as good as how bad your heel is. There can be no Luke Skywalker without Darth Vader. So for me, a heel, it's the best. Much easier.
Same here. I love being a heel. I hate being a babyface. I fucking hate being a I remember when they decided to make me a babyface in the company, the man in charge said, "What's going on? You look like a fish out of the water," because I'm out of the fucking water. I'm not enjoying this. So what do you mean? You like being an asshole? I do, because I'm a great asshole in the ring. The business in Mexico was not in a good place 3 years ago. They decided to make Alberto Del Rio, the Alberto Del Rio from America, to bring it to Mexico, grab the mic and be that heel, and we made it work. After 2 months, we were packing arenas, every single place, and they were loving the promos because Mexican wrestlers, they don't know how to talk on the microphone. But we do in America. That's one of the first things they teach you.
He's like one of the best heels ever. Right? I mean, no, it just no, not because Alberto, you know me. I never get the chance to go WWE, so I cannot say the same things they say. But I got my experience, and the first time I wrestled with him, and it was a few months ago, I had the feeling just, oh, that's how they do it. And you don't understand how much control he has of the environment and the crowd, and he does so smoothly that you don't notice.
I went to Vince McMahon, I said, look, I could have been really upset that in real life that, look, Eddie passed and you put Ray in my spot. If I was really a jerk or an asshole, I could really be pissed off. But I said, let's make an angle out of this, make a storyline out of this. And he loved it because Vince always liked real storylines. So we convinced the fans that I was Ray's friend. So when I turned on Ray and ended up, breaking his knee and putting him out, people were like, oh, we forgot. He's a Guerrero. And that is where the magic of the beautifulness of pro wrestling is. We have those storylines. There's nothing like pro wrestling. It's stunt work, it's entertainment, it's movies, it's TV. We grew up in this business. Everything, when I grew up, I had my grandfather's wrestling promotion, Chavo Guerrero. We did the promotion. I had a wrestling ring in our backyard. Everything you saw on TV that Eddie and I did was just the stuff we used to do as kids in the backyard. We wanted to be like our idols, our fathers and our uncles. He and I was the same. We always wanted to follow in our family's footsteps. There was no guarantee because there's a lot of second, third generation wrestlers that have never made it.
Once I said I'm going to do it, I never seen anything else because there was no plan B, so.
Wise word.
Why what?
Wise word.
Well, yeah, well, thank you. So, I'm not just a pretty face.
His grandfather was my father and my uncle's mentor. So part of the success of Dos Caras and Mil Máscaras is because of his grandpa. And life has been so amazing that his grandpa helped my dad and my uncle. And years later, Chavo was the one helping me. He was the first one talking to me when I came to WWE. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Of course, they were nice right there, but then nobody came and talked to me or anything till Chavo got to the building. And then we started talking. And then he started helping me with absolutely everything. That's why, I love this man, not just because of what he taught me or gave me in the business, but then I have the wonderful opportunity to become his friend. And then brothers in life, brothers in the business, and we've been through a lot of stuff, and he has my back and I have his. And he's always going to be.
And he's
like
helped
that
me
forever.
as much as I've helped him. So he's helped me. He's made me a better wrestler.
And do it every single night. That sometimes you lose a passion for it. Sometimes the business is not fair. Sometimes it is. And when it's not fair, that's when you stop losing that passion or that love. That happened to me. There was a point in my life, and even though I wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little baby, there was a point in my life where I would wake up in the morning and I was on the edge of the bed saying, fuck, I gotta go and do this again. And I was not enjoying it. That's where we left, right, at some point. But now it's completely different. I have other reasons to continue working and improving. I have to prove myself. I have to prove my kids. I have to preview that Alberto is a fucking badass and he's one of the best ones on earth and he loves this.